Imagine you bought an apartment in Berlin, your own, real, with a notary, with taxes, with a mortgage, and with that incredible feeling when you first hold the signed purchase agreement in your hands and think, that's it, I did it, I am the owner. Congratulations, that's wonderful, that's magnificent. That almost means nothing. No, wait, listen to the end. Because today we will talk about a small German legislative masterpiece called Eigenbedarf, which translates to own need, and in practice means the following. You bought an apartment, a tenant lives in it, you want to move in, and then Germany says to you, interesting, very interesting. Now prove it. Yes, you bought an apartment, you paid real money for it, and now you have to prove to the state that you need it. Magnificent. Like, subscribe to the channel, and write in the comments, are you an owner or a tenant? Have you received Eigenbedarf? Have you gone to court? Real stories under this video are gold for anyone who will face this tomorrow. So what does the law consider a valid reason for Eigenbedarf? The apartment is needed for yourself, for your children, for your parents, for your spouse, for your grandchildren, for your brothers and sisters. Your daughter has enrolled in a Berlin university. Valid. After a divorce, you have nowhere to live. Valid. Elderly parents want to be closer to you. Valid. And now, reasons that are not valid. I just want to have a free apartment. No. I want to sell for a higher price. Also no. The tenant annoys me, especially number 3. German courts treat fictitious personal needs much like a German tax inspector treats forgotten income. That is, without the slightest sense of humor. And if it turns out that the story about the sick grandmother or the student daughter was fabricated, the bill will come to you. The tenant's move, the broker, the difference in rent, court costs, all of this will fall on you. But let's assume your need is genuine. It seems like a victory? No, because German law poses the following question, which makes many property owners' eyes twitch. When exactly did the tenant move into this apartment? And here the concept of Umwandlung comes into play. Transformation. This is when a house belonged to one owner, and then it was divided into separate apartments, each recorded in the land register as an independent unit of property. There was one house, now there are many apartments. And here is the question on which literally everything depends. Did the tenant live there before this division or after? If after, everything is relatively simple, the usual rules. If before, welcome to Sperrfrist, blocking period. In Berlin, it lasts 10 years. 10 years. Not 3 months, not 6 months, 10 years. The logic of the legislator is clear. No one should have the ability to buy a house, divide it into apartments, and throw people out onto the street en masse. This is reasonable. This is fair. It also means that you, the legal owner of the apartment, can look at it from the outside for 10 years. But that's not the end of the story. After 10 years, the tenant is not required to move out the next day, because there are notice periods. Up to 5 years of residence, 3 months. From 5 to 8 years, 6 months. More than 8 years, 9 months. So the real arithmetic looks like this. 10 years plus 9 months. Wonderful. And even this is not the finale, because there is a hartefall, a hard case. If the tenant is 85 years old, if he has lived there for 30 years, if he has dementia, a serious illness, or a disability, the court may say, the need for personal use is real, but eviction is impossible, and the tenant stays, sometimes for years. Courts in Berlin, by the way, are particularly attentive. The interests of the tenant here often outweigh the interests of the owner. Moreover, age alone is no longer an automatic protection. Courts say 80 years is not an argument. Show the circumstances. It is not the older person who wins. It is the one with better evidence who wins. So, the final score. Can a tenant be evicted for personal use? Yes. Is it simple? No. You need to prove a genuine need, check for the existence of a blocking period, properly prepare the termination notice, ensure that you have no other suitable apartment, pass the hardship check, and only after that, possibly, will you gain the right to move into the apartment you purchased. Therefore, the most important question when buying an apartment with a tenant is not how many square meters and not what is the rent. The most important question is when exactly did this tenant move in? Because the answer to that is the difference between 9 months and more than 10 years. Enjoy your Eigenbedarf.